to my channel. If you're new here, welcome very much, and if you're back here, I'm glad to see you again. Today I'm in my kitchen in the house. I'm turning 60 in 3 days time, and in 2 days time I'm going to go and visit my kids to spend some fun time with them. Now I cannot go to my kids without taking them some biscuits, so I've got my mom's old recipe file here, and I'm going to make some of these biscuits. That's over there. Join me in the fun. We're starting off with 3/4 pound of sugar. So that will be 1.5 pounds, which is 750 grams. I'm doubling the recipe because a single recipe of these biscuits are never enough. So we need 750 grams of sugar. There we go. Putting that into my Kenwood bowl. Then I need 1 pound of butter. Now, this tub is 500 grams. I just rounded up to 500 grams. So it's 1/2 pound of butter in the original recipe. So I'm going to be using 1 pound. And I've already sliced it up into smaller pieces. I just need to get it out of here. Come on, get out. There you go. There you go. This will be washed and reused again. Then I need a teaspoon of vanilla, which isn't here, it's supposed to be here. Anyway, I can add that in later. I'm putting it in my Kenwood, and I'm putting on the K beater. And that, I'll save you from the noise. That will be beaten until it's nice and light and fluffy. In the meantime, I'll go and look for my vanilla while this is cooking. Oh, mixing. The butter and sugar is nice and softened and nice. Now, the next thing we need to add is 4 eggs. Original recipe is 2 eggs. I'm going to be using duck eggs. Now, the original recipe had normal chicken eggs, large, 4 of those. Well, original recipe 2, I'm using 4. But I want to use the duck eggs. The small ones are the large eggs, 60 grams. 3 of the duck eggs is 240. So that's what I'm going to be putting in. And I found my vanilla. So let's go. The recipe says 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I'm just going to put a lid full in. That's just the way I go when it comes to the baking. I just pour in. There you go. That in. And then we put the first egg in. I just want to break it in here, make sure it's all good. It should be, it was, ooh, look at those beautiful, look how beautiful that is. 1 egg, let's get it in, get it started. We'll add the eggs one by one, beat it up, add the next one, beat it up, add the next one. I'll be back. I'm just quickly going to show you. I don't want to have Kenwood on while I'm showing you. You can just spray your baking tray with, I actually do have some here, cooking and baking spray. I prefer using silicone baking paper. You don't have to keep on greasing your papers or your pans, and you can reuse the silicone paper over and over and over again. I did replace all of my pans paper this afternoon because they have been used so many times. I think it's time for new ones. So I'll just cut it around the corners. There we go. Easy as pie, and you don't have to spray the pans every time it comes out of the oven. Now, like I mentioned, I have already prepared all of them. I just find if I work with a lot of trays, I can prepare all the biscuits and only then turn on the oven, and then I'm not in a rush to get the next tray full because the one came out of the oven. So I've got lots of trays, get all the biscuits prepped, turn on the oven and start baking. Got to add the second egg here. Oh, it's starting to look very nice and fluffy. Yummy. I only recently started using duck eggs. If you look at my video about prepping for the Knysna Oyster Festival, you will see Wayne helped me there with building my shelving. Now Wayne has got a lot of ducks. So I've been starting to use duck eggs now, probably about 3 weeks, and they are absolutely delicious. And apparently they're healthier than chicken eggs. I wouldn't know, but I love them. Let's go, get the next one going. And the last egg. Isn't it just beautiful, this bluish green duck egg blue? I love it. Nice. There you go. Now we need to put in all the dry ingredients. Okay, recipe is 1 pound of flour. I round it to 500 grams, so it's 1 kilo of flour. So let's start with the first 500 grams. There you go. First lot. I put in the dough hook. And the first lot of flour is going in. My mom used to make us knead this by hand, but the Kenwood is so comfortable with doing that it's just much easier to just have the Kenwood do the work. While that one is slowly mixing up, let me add the rest of this bowl. While that is mixing up, I will be weighing out the rest of the flour 500 grams. I've put you guys on the counter. It's just easier for me to work. Come on. Scrape that off on the side. Get the flour back in the sides. And we'll turn it on again. Right, we'll get this going. Oh! Ha ha ha! That was a oopsie. That one first, then turn it on. Now I've got dough everywhere. I need to measure out. Original recipe is 1 teaspoon of bicarb. So I'm going to be putting in 2. There you go. I'm going to put in 1, 2. Now, if you want a white biscuit at the end, you can use baking powder. But I like the slight brownness it gives. Let me check if I've got more of this, because I'm supposed to have 4 teaspoons. Ta-da! I found some. That's enough. Now, I need to mix this up a bit. And add the flour. Turn it on slow. I hope it doesn't do that. Now, I know out of experience, if I double up in this, it doesn't always work so nice because it spills over the edges. So let's dig in by hand. I do find that if I mix the dough with the Kenwood, it sometimes tends to be very wet. So I usually do just the last little bit by hand. I was originally planning to bake these tonight, but it is already 8 o'clock, so I'm just going to prepare them, cling wrap them, and then put them in the fridge. And then tomorrow I've got some lime marmalade in the pots at the back in the jam kitchen. So tomorrow I will do the lime marmalade. I always make a mess when I'm baking. Tomorrow I'll do the lime marmalade and then bake this in the afternoon. I don't know about you guys. As kids, we used to help my mom baking Christmas cookies. These were one of the ones we always made. And then as a kid, I always wanted to eat the dough. And my mom would say, you can eat the dough, but if you get a tummy ache, don't come and complain. So from young, we always ate the dough once it's ready. When you're making a dough like this that must be mixed through properly, you want to get all the dry and wet ingredients incorporated together. At least take my watch off. And the easiest way is to just fold it back, press it back. Fold the sides in, press it back. And if you carry on long enough like that, you will have a nice smooth dough. If the dough is ready, it will pick up all the little pieces and not drop new pieces on the counter. Perfect. there you go. I'll put this in the fridge and I'll be back tomorrow morning baking it. I mixed this last night and just wrapped it and put it in the fridge. You don't have to put it in the fridge, but my time was just a bit low last night, so I put them in the fridge, and yeah, it's a bit hard. Now, you're supposed to, according to the recipe, roll them in little balls and then press them down slightly and then decorate them. What I do is I just make a little roll like that, and you pinch off little pieces. Maybe those are a bit big. A bit big, yeah. These do spread out a bit, so you have to space them a bit, and you're still going to press them down, so you don't want them too much on top of each other. And it's also too big. I just want to make it a bit softer and get it more workable. The nice thing about when you do it right after you've mixed the dough is they work very easy. There you go. First tray is full. I'm going to let this rest a bit to just get a bit of the cold out, and then I'll carry on in a little bit. While we're waiting for the dough to just thaw out a bit, I'm going to start getting the decorations ready. I just take normal cherries, put it like this, then you can see better. I'll cut it in half, cut it in half again, and then in quarters. We're just kneading this dough a bit. I'm not very patient with things like this, so I'm not going to wait for it to thaw. I'll just work it in my hands until it's softer, and then we roll it in little rolls, and then we can make the biscuits. We get the next tray.
So you got to dip it every time before you squish.
Well, I do find if you just... It's another tip, okay? Just hold the cookie down when you lift it, then you can do more than one. It's usually by the third one it sticks. But if you want to dip it every time, you can, but I do about 3 and then dip it again. But you see why I don't even bother rolling them. My sister came up with this clever idea many moons ago. Oh well, she's the one that showed it to me. I don't know if she came up with it or saw it somewhere. But you can roll them in little ballikies, little balls if you want. But I don't do that. Look, if it was for resale or for show, you know, if you had to go to an agricultural show or something, then I would roll them nicely. But this is just for the kids to eat, man. To squish a cherry in there. Now you don't want to just put them on top. You want to actually squish them in, otherwise they just fall off.
And this basic vanilla cookie recipe, could you vary it and put chocolate nibs in it, or
I suppose you could, because it's just a basic butter biscuit. I suppose you can, yes. I've never tried it myself, but there you go.
Sorry.
Have to taste the cherry. Next, another tip is that if you bake a whole lot of different biscuits, get everything ready. Like you saw, I've got lots of oven trays. And only when you're like nearly done, turn the oven on, because then you won't have an oven using electricity, wasting the electricity when you've got nothing ready to go in the oven. So get the whole caboodle ready and then you turn your oven on. I make biscuits for them when I feel like I want to spoil them. I mean, after all, you don't turn 60 every year. And I'm going to spend the time with my kids, and it's a special time, so I'm going with them. I usually don't let your mom tell you can't eat the dough. Usually December, when Ray's kids come and the grandkids, I also bake. That we've got kids biscuits for the grandkids. You know what? I used to bake these at least once a month, maybe even once every 3 weeks. When I was still in Stellenbosch and I had the deli, I used to bake these and the spicy ones. The spicy ones I did at least once a month for that old gentleman that wanted his biscuits that reminded him of his student years. And these, they sold quite well, so I baked them. When I saw I had about 3-4 packs left, I'd bake the next lot. Now yeah, I'm a bit limited with number one, the trays and my mixer. In the deli I had a big industrial mixer, and I used to make this recipe, I'd multiply it by 5. Okay. And my trays were big. They were 45 by 75 centimeters.
Wow, like an industrial,
it was an industrial McAdams oven, McAdams 7. And I think all our trays are full now. Anyway, in the McAdams 7, I could put 7 of those big trays in at the same time, and it'll be 15 minutes and I've got 4 kilos of biscuits baked. Ray bought me a brand new stove, and this is the first time I'm going to be using the oven for baking. Now I do believe maybe I must just move this rack up one. What I like doing is preheating my oven, obviously, and then I'll put the trays in the bottom, and after half the baking time I put them at the top and put the next lot at the bottom. That way it's just faster to bake, and you bake evenly from the bottom and the top of the biscuit. So let's get this oven on. I think, well, it has to be at 180, and this setting, I believe it'll be there, bottom and the top elements on, baking. Oh, it does have a thermofan as well. Let's get it on the thermofan then. Cool. We'll wait for the oven to be warm and then we'll start baking. Okie dokie. So there, we've got 5 trays of the Aricod biscuits waiting to be baked. The first 2 trays of the spicy biscuits are out the oven. So now I can get the next lot ready. By the time my oven is empty, I've got more trays to put in. My friend gave me an idea, now I'm going to try it out. I've got some cinnamon sugar here. I'm just going to roll them in the cinnamon sugar. I'm just going to dunk them. Just that little bit of a hint of cinnamon sugar. I ran out of cherries. I've got 5 more cherries here. So we might as well try something different.
You having fun?
I'm enjoying myself. There you go. Ready for the oven. Okay. We're ready to start baking the Aricod biscuits. Like the others, I put them in at the bottom. Turns out with this oven I've got to bake them 7 minutes at the bottom, then I take them up and put the next tray in. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. They're starting to brown at the back, so we turn them around, and cinnamon ones in, because I'm curious to actually taste one of those and see how they bake. There you go. I'll see you when they're all done. Okay, let's have a look and see how our biscuits are doing. I think these ones will be perfect. Oh yes, look at that. Like a honey brown. So just press this, otherwise it'll tip out. Perfect. Let's take these out.
They look like melting moments.
Huh?
They look like melting moments.
They are yummy, yummy like melting moments. I think they're even better than melting moments. Let me just get the other 2 trays. Sorry for that. I have discovered in this oven at the setting of 180 degrees, these have to bake 16 minutes. Our Aricod biscuits are done. Look at that. Golden brown, and the bottom as well. And if you open them up, it's just deliciously. These don't go as crisp and hard as the spicy biscuits. These are very nice biscuits. Delicious, yummy biscuits. I'll have that just now. I just want to get these off the tray. The nice thing, like I mentioned in the preparation, if you use your silicone baking paper, your pans are clean afterwards. And I store them just like this until I use them again. Stack the whole lot, put them in a plastic bag to keep the dust off, and then I just use them again. The family said they want tea and biscuits a bit later, but I have to try this one before they do. This brings back so much memories. My mom baking biscuits for Christmas. It's the only time we ever baked biscuits was just before we went away for the Christmas holiday. That's the end of the labor products for today. I've got quite a lot of the Aricod biscuits. I made some plain ones. The cherries were finished, obviously the ones with cherries. And then I also made some that I dunked in cinnamon sugar. I haven't tasted one of these yet, but I'm sure they'll be delicious. I've just had so many tasters already, I can't eat any more. Thank you for joining me baking Aricod biscuits. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like to see more videos of me making grandma's recipes and things in the house kitchen, please leave me a comment below and give me a like on the video. Thank you. Hope to see you soon.